1922. A dust-filled valley in Egypt. For over 3,000 years, the world held its breath, waiting for the final secret of the pharaohs to surrender. But they weren't looking for a king. They were looking for a ghost. He was the boy king whose name vanished from history. Until a single, sealed doorway changed everything. What lies behind the curse? Prepare to step into the shadow of Tutankhamun, the life he lived, the treasures he left behind, and the legend that still refuses to die. This is his untold story. Join us as we journey back in time, using cutting-edge technology and newly uncovered evidence to piece together the real life of this enigmatic ruler. From the political intrigues of his court to the mystery surrounding his death at just 19 years old. We'll explore the breathtaking artifacts discovered in his tomb and decode the messages they hold. Was he a beloved leader or a pawn in a larger game? Unravel the truth with us. Don't forget to subscribe for more historical deep dives. He became pharaoh at the age of 9, boy thrust into the weight of a kingdom. Egypt was ancient, powerful, and full of secrets, and Tutankhamun would soon learn them all. He walked the halls of the royal palace, a place where every shadow held a story, and every ray of sunlight seemed to carry the blessings of the gods. Around him, servants bowed low, and priests performed rituals that had been passed down for generations. It was a world of immense power, but also immense pressure. He was not just a child. He was the living embodiment of Horus on earth, the protector of his people. But the boy king was about to face dangers no child should know. Tutankhamun knelt before the colossal golden statues of Ra and Osiris, the air thick with the scent of incense and the sound of priests chanting in a language older than memory itself. He was trained in the ways of the gods, learning rituals that were the very bedrock of Egyptian civilization. Every gesture, every word, every prayer, it all mattered for Egypt's future. The gods were not distant figures. They were a living presence in the temples, in the Nile, and in the heart of the pharaoh himself. His devotion was a shield for the kingdom, a promise of stability and divine favor. Little did he know, the gods would test him in ways no mortal could predict. By the age of 13, he was no longer just a student of priests. He began to lead. We see him inspecting the construction of a new temple, speaking with the builders and scribes, his authority clear despite his youth. Soldiers salute as he passes, their loyalty unwavering. After a period of religious chaos under his predecessor, Akhenaten, it was Tutankhamun's duty to restore order. He rebuilt the old temples, reopened vital trade routes that brought wealth into the land, and slowly, painstakingly, restored Egypt's former glory. He was healing a divided nation. But the young king's life was far from safe. The royal court was a glittering viper's nest. Shadows seemed to whisper in the corners of the grand halls as advisors plotted and rivals schemed. Tutankhamun, though young, had to learn to navigate this treacherous world. He could see the ambition in the eyes of his most trusted counselors, feel the undercurrent of tension in every royal decree. Every decision could mean life or death. The crown was not just a symbol of power, it was a target. The young king felt the weight of a crown far heavier than gold. Though his reign was short, Tutankhamun ensured his kingdom shone with unparalleled brilliance. He walked into a chamber filled with treasures, the torchlight dancing across surfaces of pure gold. Lapis lazuli and carnelian, the golden mask, a masterpiece of craftsmanship, glimmered with an almost divine light. These weren't just objects of wealth. They were symbols of his power, his divine right to rule, and his deep devotion to the gods. Each artifact was a prayer made manifest, an offering to secure Egypt's prosperity for eternity. But the boy king's greatest secret was hidden, even from those closest to him. He lived a life of splendor, adventure, and deep mystery. Imagine him, a young man full of life, riding a magnificent chariot along the banks of the Nile, his people cheering as he passed. In the background, grand temple rituals continued, a constant reminder of his sacred duties. He was a ruler, a priest, and a warrior. But his life was cut tragically short. He would die before the age of 20, leaving a legacy wrapped in questions. His tomb, though small compared to other pharaohs, would one day tell the world the story of a pharaoh too young to die. And that day would come far, far in the future. Though Tutankhamun ruled for only 9 years, he left a legacy of wisdom, devotion, and courage. His work to restore the traditional gods and stabilize the kingdom was a monumental achievement. We see him teaching young scribes, listening to the wisdom of priests, and watching the sun set over the eternal Nile. He was more than a name on a cartouche. He was a leader who tried to steer his nation back to prosperity. His story would become a legend, inspiring generations to wonder about the boy behind the golden mask. But his life's mysteries were far from solved. For over 3,000 years, he rested in silence, his story lost to the sands of time. Then, in 1922, the British archaeologist Howard Carter made the discovery of a lifetime. After years of searching, he broke through a sealed doorway and saw what he described as wonderful things. Dust fell from the ceiling as torches flickered, revealing a tomb untouched by robbers. The treasures were pristine, and the boy king's face, frozen in solid gold, was ready to tell his story to the world once more. The world was captivated. And yet, who was Tutankhamun really? The tomb gave us incredible treasures, but it also gave us more questions. Inside lay not just gold, but the essence of a boy who ruled a kingdom. Modern science has revealed he likely had health problems, including a club foot and malaria. His family tree is a complex web of relationships, and whispers of conspiracies surrounding his death persist even today. Was his death an accident? Or was it murder? The secrets of the boy king are still being unraveled, with each new discovery adding another layer to his complex story. Some secrets of the pharaoh are still hidden beneath the sands. Through the power of storytelling and technology, Tutankhamun lives again. We see him leading grand ceremonies, traveling in his chariot, communicating with the gods, and walking among his people not as a relic, but as a living, breathing ruler. His life, though brief, shines brighter than many kings who ruled for decades. He has become a symbol of ancient Egypt itself, its beauty, its mystery, and its enduring power. The boy king is not just history, he is eternal. Tutankhamun, the boy king, a living pharaoh, the ultimate symbol of ancient Egypt's glory. As the sun sets over the Nile, its golden light catching the iconic mask, we see him standing proudly on a palace terrace. His image is a bridge across millennia, connecting our world to the distant past. From the sands of the Valley of the Kings to the screens and museums of the modern world, his story will never fade. For more than 3,000 years, the boy king slept beneath the sands of Egypt. His name was Tutankhamun, a forgotten pharaoh whose story was buried with him. But the moment his tomb was opened, the world changed forever. And it all began with a single step into darkness. In 1922, an archaeologist named Howard Carter arrived in Luxor with one final hope. For 6 years he searched and found nothing. His funds were gone. His workers were tired. Everyone told him to give up. Until a young water boy stumbled upon a strange stone step. That step led to a staircase, and the staircase led to a sealed doorway. And on that seal was the royal cartouche of Tutankhamun. Carter froze. He realized he had found the impossible. "Can you see anything?" his sponsor, Lord Carnarvon, whispered. Carter's voice trembled. "Yes, wonderful things, but that was only the beginning." Inside the first chamber, mountains of gold shimmered in the darkness. Statues of gods, chests filled with jewels, the golden throne, and weapons untouched by time. It looked like a pharaoh had just left the room. But where was the mummy? Ahead of Carter stood another sealed door, stronger, older, and touched. He knew this was the burial chamber. Behind this wall lay the king himself. No one on earth was ready for what they were about to see. Inside the burial chamber were 3 coffins. The first magnificent wood, the second glittering gold, but the third was made of solid, pure gold. Carter's hands shook as he lifted the lid. There he was, Tutankhamun, a boy who became king at 9 and died at 19. His body wrapped in linen, his face covered with the most beautiful mask ever created. But the mask hid secrets no one expected. Soon after the tomb was opened, strange events began. Lord Carnarvon died suddenly. Lights across Cairo went dark. Newspapers wrote death. will come on swift wings to him who disturbs the king. Was it a curse? Or something far more human? Modern science revealed that Tutankhamun was sick most of his life. He had a club foot, malaria, and broken bones. Some say he died in an accident. Others whisper murder. The truth may still be hidden inside his tomb. Today, Tutankhamun is the most famous pharaoh in history. His mask became the symbol of ancient Egypt. His tomb brought billions to archaeology. He turned Egypt back into the center of the world's imagination. But one question remains: why was Tutankhamun buried in such a small tomb? Why was his death so sudden? Why was his treasure untouched for 32 centuries? And why? Maybe the boy king wanted to be found. Maybe he wanted his story to rise again. Or maybe some secrets of ancient Egypt were never meant to sleep forever.